What is it do you like about Coke?
I love the smell of it.
Is raw. It's raw every goddamn year.
Yes,
Hey man,
Lord.
serve 'em raw, goddammit.
Subscribe to Serving It Raw and let's keep it
all the way funky, uncut, raw. Serving it raw just like my boy Gutter Kane.
Yes, Lord. You the tapped into the Serving It Raw podcast where the convo stays so raw it don't need no cut. I'm your host, Gutter Kane, the Gutter Man, and today's guest is a true West Coast hip hop legend with over 35 years in the game. A founding member of South Central Cartel, Havoc and Prodigy, and Murder Squad, he helped shape the sound of the era.
He's also the son of Robert Squirrel Lester of the legendary Shy Lights.
And the founding of Game Changer Entertainment. Servers, I want y'all to make some noise and help welcoming the Game Changer. What's going on, big dog?
Oh, thank you. Forgot GWK Records. I also started that company back in the days when I was putting out all of the South Central Cartel, Havoc and Prodigy, the Murder Squad, Shaquilla, and Young Murder Squad. So GWK Records was my first label, Gangsters with Knowledge Records.
Already. Okay. Well, hey, I'm gonna set everything up. So I know shout out to Big Bro, Big Court, but you was on the Holding Court. Yeah. Yeah, you was on the Holding Court podcast and you spoke about your early days in South Central Cartel and how being the son of Robert Squirrel Lester shaped your musical foundation. Mm-hmm. And today with your final album and retirement on the horizon, okay, I want to continue that conversation, but from the standpoint of legacy, evolution, and what comes next. So for all the viewers and listeners, go check out the Game Changers interview with Big Court and Rachel Renee on the Holding Court podcast, and then come back because this episode is going to be a continuation of where they left off as far as this concerned. Right?
We're going to piggyback.
Yes, Lord. We're going to pick it back up. So I do want to start where, just, where are you from? Not just the city, but the mindset that made the Game Changer who he is today.
Well, originally I was born in Chicago, Illinois, South Side. Two great parents, my mama Louise and my father Robert Squirrel Lester, growing up on the south side of Chicago, is an experience that I could never ever forget because that's where I'm born from, that's where my roots come from, that's where my evolution of growing all the way to the point to where I visited California and had the privilege of being on vacation and stayed with the Jackson 5 with Catherine and Joe Jackson and having the experience of, playing with Janet, Michael, Randy, and that experience being in California. The first thing I said to myself was, when I get big, I'm going to move to California. It was just something that was going through my head, going through their big house up, in the hills where they lived at, playing with the dog Bolo and seeing the actual snake and the rat from the cartoon, the Jackson 5, when Janet just was getting her role in Good Times. And then, the fact that I grew up, with a famous father who was going through the transition of getting in the music game, rehearsing and making music and, watching my life progress from, struggling here and then watching us grow and getting to the point where, my father made it really big, living in a big mansion, going to Catholic school, being an altar boy, just having that good life that my father provided with being an original member of, the iconic group, the Shy Lights. And so that's where my roots come from. I never expected myself to be in music growing up. But what I would say is certain music inspired me. And the first song that really, really caught my attention was Rapper's Delight by Sugar Hill Gang. And I remember I used to play it over and over and over till where the needle was almost gone. I used to put quarters and nickels on top of the needle so that it can continue to play. And also that Years Day, Kids Day, Years Day, the double dutch,
Yeah.
Songs, kind of, like, as a youngster, you try to follow music that you liked it, even though I appreciated what my dad was doing. listening to the James Browns, the Stevie Wonders, the different groups that were, the Dales and, the OJs, the Aretha Franklins and, all of that era. And plus I liked it all type of music. I liked the rock and roll. I liked the, the Madonnas, songs that,
Yeah, you musically
AZ
inclined.
Tops and, Pink Floyd's and the Go-Go's and
Yeah.
like my musical love wasn't just stuck on one genre. And so, watching when they made the Blues Brothers in Chicago and, just all type of music that I saw myself, catering to. And so, And
Okay. Now, so growing up with your father's legacy in soul music, okay, what lessons from that world carried over in your approach to hip hop, especially early on when you were the founding member of the South Central Cartel?
that's a great question. So what I learned early on during the days of my father's career, watching them, help break Soul Train open when it was in Chicago with Don Cornelius. And what I learned was going to the studio, going to, certain things with my dad, the professionalism
Okay.
of having the music recorded correctly, a great engineer, a great producing, the production, the arrangement of music. And so when I met Prodigy and he was rapping some raps that he had in a briefcase, and I was like, wow, like, I instantly related him to Eugene Record. Eugene Record wrote most of the Shy songs and helped produce a lot of the Shy music. And so when I met Prod, he had the lyrical aspect that I saw great like a Rakim. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I was like, this energy came over me like, man, let me be down. You know what I mean? Like, but he didn't know that I was from the background of a musical legacy. Who
Okay. He didn't
my
know that.
father was. I was just running my mouth, and that's how I got the mouthpiece, because I'm running my mouth. You know what I mean?
Ah, Havoc the Mouthpiece. Okay.
So when I first got the Prod and them first cassette tape, it was Prodigy, his first cousin, Havoc the Rhyme Son, and DJ Chaos. But at the time, Rhyme Son name was MC Hell and Prodigy name was MC Def. And so I had a street name of C Note, which represents $100 bill.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I added an M to the C Note and called myself MC Note. And so our first group was called Mafia Style. And so with that being said, when I got the first cassette from Prod of some music that they made with Grip, kind of like, not Grip, but Chaos was kind of like the producer of it. And so I wound up going down to K-Day when it was on 1580 K-Day in LA. It was a big hip hop station that was, paving the way with Greg Mack and Lisa Canning and, all of these original DJs of that era. And so I used to call up to the radio station every day, getting on Lisa Canning's nerve, trying to, speak on the radio because I had a little
Yeah.
crush on Lisa Canning and, you know what I mean? But this was before the music part had started. I was just, being a music lover and really dug Lisa Canning.
Okay.
So I went down to the radio station to give Lisa Canning a copy of the cassette that Pride gave me, and I went and duplicated and made like 10 of them, to go hustle because I didn't put my foot in my mouth saying, let me in the group and I'll go out here and, figure out a way to help us. So I'm sitting there in the lobby of K-Day and another gentleman is actually in the lobby with me while I'm waiting on Lisa Canning to come, holler at me. So me and him struck up a conversation about, music. And he was like, hey, how you doing? I was like, hey, where you from? I said, well, I'm originally from Chicago. He said, oh, I'm from Chicago. I said, yeah. I said, yeah, man, I grew up, south side of Chicago. My dad is Squirrel from the Chi-Light. And his whole, perception changed. And he was like, Squirrel, your dad. I was like, yeah, and Louise, your mama. And I was like, how did man know, my mama name and all that? And then he said, "Oh, well, by the way, I'm your daddy and them road manager." And right
Ah,
then and there,
okay.
a connection that I never expected because of my dad's legacy
Hmm.
that would come full circle to me being in a radio station with the manager, with the road manager of my dad's group, and we strike up a conversation.
That's destiny right there.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's destiny.
So immediately I gave him a cassette of what we were doing as mafia style, even though
Okay.
I wasn't no rapper on that because Prod and Rhyme Son and Chaos had a group of them three. And so
Okay.
when I got in, it was basically Prod let me, basically giving me a spot without consent with the other two members because I talked my way into his heart with my mouth. Okay.
Gotcha.
So Ken Neal was his name, right? So Ken Neal calls me the next day to give me an update on what he thought about the music. And he was like, "Hey man, the guys are really good lyricists, but the musical production part of it needs help. Because there wasn't no arrangement, really no real specific structure professionally of what he known as being his professionalism in the music game." So
Gotcha.
he was like, and so he said, "Well, hey, I really like, the lyrical part of the group, so I'm gonna hook you up with a producer." And that's when we got hooked up with Chris Jamarama Johnson, a white boy who was a producer. And then that's when our journey really started. Now, I started paying Chris Jamarama for sessions to bring us to the studio with him to now start making music, how to arrange it, how to structure it, how to have just not just beats and hi-hats and snares and kick drums, but to add strings and guitars and back, you know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
he started adding that musical aspect
Aspect to it.
to us.
Yeah.
And so that grew. And so, and as we got more and more working with Chris, that's when we made the first album, South Central Madness and Havoc and Prodigy's Living in the Crime Wave. Most of them two albums were produced and co-produced by Prodigy and Jamarama being the main focus of the earlier musical part of it. But as we moved along, Prod started getting more and more inclined to where he wasn't just a lyricist, but he started transitioning into a producer. Now he's going to Chris with this song saying this is what he wants, and you know what I mean? And
Yeah, I
that
got you.
evolution grew. But the
Okay.
original South Central Madness and the Living in the Crime Wave records were mainly produced by Chris with a little piece of pride, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, giving little pointers too.
Okay. I want to touch on something that you when you said about when you're talking about how you was able to get in a group with your mouthpiece. I
Yeah,
just okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to let the newer generation know this. Yes, Mobb Deep from the East Coast had Havoc and Prodigy, South Central Cartel had Havoc and Prodigy, and it was on the West Coast. They had no idea that
neither one of
yeah. So he's talked about this on numerous podcasts. They've covered this a lot. So I don't want y'all to start commenting all below like, hold on, they stole this and or they took
them.
this and no. Okay. Now to speak about the Havoc, the mouthpiece part, because that was your name, is
Correct.
this. Why the transition to the game changer? Like what shifted personally or professionally that made you change your name or feel necessary to do that at this stage right now?
Okay. That's another great question. You're really good at this, man. So
I try to be.
I don't want to, I don't want to make it too personal, but I'm
Okay.
gonna make it more of a personal feelings about what I was going through. So
Okay.
I can't say about what Rhyme Son or LV or Young Pride or Big Pride or Chaos or Grip. I cannot use what I went through with them as the reason how I became to the point to where I finally wanted to do something for myself.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then not being a rapper in the SEC um, kind of put me in a position to where it was felt like if you wasn't a rapper, your importance to the group wasn't as powerful as being the mouthpiece.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so I took that personally,
Okay.
right? And so that's what made me so popular, because I was looked at as, you know, my intros or me talking on records, and in a certain aspect was looked at like I was whack. Like, you know, you just talking on records, and it didn't really bring the significance to what they felt was important, rapping and producing, which is, I understand rapping and producing is a powerful position in a group. But what I didn't know is being an executive and the owner of a record company and having the money to finance a rapper and finance a producer and help them get to the point to where their position became powerful.
Gotcha.
And that grew on me. You get it? It grew when you get word from Easy E, like, hey man, what you're doing is really, you know, important, you know, on
Hell
the
yeah.
paper. And that's when the part about coming with GWK became significant to me, because it balanced out my feelings about being important to something that was growing, and I was watching it grow, and the energy of it was a great feeling to see this come together, but wasn't really getting the necessary appreciation that I felt like I was earning, the appreciation of my money and appreciation of my relentless hustle ability. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so when you covering three big areas, it kind of allowed me to grow to the point where I felt equal, and then in some instance a little above being equal, because you know, if you're not being respected, then you're gonna go out there and get your respect from where you ain't getting it.
Gotcha.
And so the game changer is after I had quit the group. You know, we went through, you know, a lot of situations,
Yeah.
you know, which we talked about on the podcast, and to the point to where I walked away from South Central Cartel.
Mhm.
And so when I decided to come back, you know, we was gonna try to get back together, but same story with certain people in the group that kept perspiring to make me say, hey, you know what, this is just never going to work for me. So I walked away again. And this was in, when we was trying to do a reunion album with the SEC. And so after that, I messed around and got a couple of groups, you know, Cream, Tiffany Lewis, Jamel, Gray Lee. And, you know, I developed these groups and pretty much didn't get the success that I was trying to recreate. And so I was ready to quit again until my baby sister told me, no, you're not a quitter, which she know I'm not a quitter.
Yes.
And so I sat in my room where I'm at right now, and I thought about this. I prayed about it, and God just said, you just have to do you. And so, and then having the company Game Changer Entertainment at that time, I would say, well, you know, I've always been a game changer my whole career. So why I just become the game changer, redefine myself, do an album myself, rap myself, co-produce the whole album, do everything that I accumulated the knowledge of for my 30-some years in the business. And
Yeah.
so that's where the game changer come from. I wanted to be a game changer.
Yeah, I mean, look, some of the great ones, then you know, does reinvented themselves. You know, Two Chains is probably one of the most popular ones, but I mean, you had somebody like Lunatic, originally from Sac. You know, he reinvented himself with the Lunicoleon and you know, took off.
Right.
Let me. I want to bring it back to something that you just said too, because I want to let people know that you're not bashing other members of SCC.
No,
Yeah. I just
never
want to
say
let people know that if I know when you're talking about the issues that y'all had was back then. Okay.
correct.
What roughly what was the age of, like, how old were y'all around this time?
In our mid 30, early 20s. The
Okay.
oldest member in the group is LV, then me and Chaos. And the younger ones were Prodigy, Rhyme Son, and eventually Young Prod came into the group after the first two albums that we did, when we did Kick and Game and then Gas We Trust, Young Prod started to come, be implemented into the group. And that's when I was working on the Murder Squad. And then I gave Young Prod a lot of opportunity to showcase his skills to where he had a limited opportunity with the SEC because he wasn't signed to the Def Jam deal. And so I had more control of Murder Squad because it was my project. And me and Young Prod was so close because I've been watching him grow up since he was 9 years old. And so, watching him, elevate lyrically, I was just, giving the opportunity to him, and he proved his worth way beyond to what I believed in, because, when you watch somebody grow up as a human being, as like a family member, like a little brother, you really don't know his skill set until the opportunity arose. And every opportunity he got, he showed he was he was ready.
Okay, now, I just wanted to point out the age because I was like, a lot of people don't understand that a lot of these groups and a lot of these rappers from back then in the 90s, but they were like in their late teens, early 20s, and so they're trying to get along and
never experienced.
Yeah, and learn the business and keep the group together and stuff like that. But to speak about Def Jam being part of the first West Coast rap group signed to Def Jam Records
First
ever.
West Coast group ever to sign the Def Jam.
Yes, Lord. Did you feel understood, or were you constantly having to prove that the West Coast deserved that platform?
Well, really, with the Def Jam situation, it was like something that, first of all, Def Jam was the type of label that was strictly an East Coast label.
Yeah.
And so you would never expect for something like that, first of all, to occur. When you got the Death Rows, the Ruthlesses, and, you got all of the different labels, that's on the West Coast. And so, and we were assigned to a good independent label at that time, ran by a iconic CEO named Russ Regan. Russ Regan was one of two men in the history of music to be responsible for over 1 billion record sales.
Ooh.
Him and Clyde Davis. So Russ Regan was iconic, ran Thump Records, once was the president of Motown, and he started the company Quality Records, which / Pump Records. And, they had Lighter Shade of Brown. They had South Central Cartel. They had the first group, Chill Deal Boys, who later became 95 South with Whoop, There It Is.
Damn.
Timmy T. And also the Bloods and Crips album.
Off of Dangerous Records. Yep.
Yeah. So, being signed to Quality and our first record doing so good independently on Quality, and then a parent company out of Canada was called Artec. Artec went into a financial instability and wind up, not having finance to continue to grow the label. And so that's when that part of us now trying to figure out what we're going to do from a transition of a label that's in a financial, instability.
Gotcha.
And so I wind up going with a good friend of ours, Prodigy's cousin. He had a cousin that was dating a guy named by Q Ball Production. And so Q Ball invited me to go with him to go to Jack the Rapper. We had been to Jack the Rapper a couple of years when we had the incident with Mobb Deep, at the Jack the Rapper, and Goofy saved the day, you know what I mean? And so me and Q Ball was walking through the Jack the Rapper seminar, and Russell Simmons was sitting over there, and my boy Q was like, "Hey, there go Russell Simmons," right? And I was like, "Russell Simmons?" He was like, "Yeah, from Def Jam, nigga, you the mouthpiece, go holler at him." Me being fearless, being a son of an icon, I didn't grow up with some of the biggest names in the music business. So someone being famous to me is like a regular person. You get it? Because
Got it.
I can talk the talk and be able to have my family help me walk the walk. You know what I mean? So I went
Already.
there and I started hollering at Russell, telling him I'm Squirrel Son of the Shy Light. He was like, "Oh, really? Whoop, whoop, whoop." And I was telling him about, South Central Cartel, whoop, whoop, whoop. And I was shopping the Murder Squad at that time. And then Russell gave me his number and said, "Give me a call." So after that, I called him, "Oh yeah, I'm busy right now, but call me back." So about a couple of weeks later, I called him back. He was like, "Oh, I'm busy right now, but call me back." As long as he kept saying, "Call me back," I'm going to keep calling him back. Right?
Yes, Lord.
This went on for about 4, 5, 6 months. You know what I mean? But the conversations got a little longer. "Hey, how you doing? What's up, Russell? Hey, man, they got like, woo, 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 woo. Okay, but give me a call. Call me back." So the last time that I spoke to him, he was like, "Hey, look, I'm going to be in California, such and such, and I'm going to be at the Four Seasons Hotel. Come by and meet with me." So as soon as he said, whoop, whoop, whoop. So I tell Project, I got to meet with Russell Simmons, you know what I mean? So we immediately go to the studio and started recording some fresh new music so that I can present to Russell when he got there. So, we did some songs, went to, kitchen sink, mix some songs, because I wanted, the professionalism of us had already arisen to where we wasn't going to go do nothing half-assed. You know what I mean? Even if I had to spend the money to go mix it, master it, whatever it took, and then put it on cassettes, you know what I mean? Go to the cassette place, take the mix, you know what I mean? To where everything was printed out on the record, you know what I mean? All professional. So I get there and Russell listened to the like 6 or 7 songs we recorded. And he was like, "Man, this is woo, like I love it." He said, "I want to sign y'all." Nigga, and right after that, I go back to a pro. Russell want to sign her. They wouldn't believe in it because this Def Jam, this Russell Simmons.
I know shit.
Yeah, like Russell want to sign her, and
I know they're like, hell nah.
and so we started going through the process, doing paperwork, and also I had the Murder Squad lingering where we was kind of doing deals for both projects. You know what I mean? And so we signed SEC contracts, and then when it finished the actual album, and then I was submitting songs from the Murder Squad, and Russell took a couple of them songs from the Murder Squad and put them on the South Central Cartel and Gas We Trust album.
Okay, now Murder Squad. I gotta ask you this question: when Murder Squad was coming together, was the original vision a group or just a compilation?
A clique.
Okay.
It was a clique of, see, what if you notice on the first album, we had a song called South Central Madness. South Central Madness was a song with different cliques. 24KT, West Side Connect, Jail from Ryan Poetic Mafia, produced by DJ Ace from Ryan Poetic Mafia. Mm-hmm. So we started having a lot of groups and outside people that was talented that we want to showcase. And
Got it.
Did Murder Squad, I not only did I want to showcase talent that was local, right, but I also want to affiliate us with great other affiliates of music to show that our capability is just as good as theirs. You know what I mean? Like when we did the Gangster Team, prime example, Ice-T, Spice One, 8 from Compton Most Wanted.
Yeah.
Right. I want to show that FCC was lyrically capable of going toe to toe with any lyricist in the game.
Got it.
So when I started the Murder Squad, not only did I just want it to be West Coast, I want it to be people from the South, like Big Mike from the Ghetto Boys, 3-2, rest in peace.
R.I.P.
90 by Nature, Both from Detroit. You know what I mean? So
R.I.P. to her too. Yeah.
R.I.P. And then Spice One up north, and Banks up north. You know what I mean?
Ooh, okay.
And then Jail Felony from Dago.
Yes, Lord.
So I was incorporating a whole
One shot kill
talent, yeah. And so, and then also BG Knockout and Gangsta Drayster.
Yeah, because I know they was on the
Murder Squad.
Yeah.
Wood remix.
They was on on the remix, of the video. That's where I was like,
Yeah, that was the remix of the song when we shot the video with Shakilla and Grifter from Ice-T was with Shakilla rapping as the two girls. You
yeah,
know,
shout out to Gripster.
yeah, Griff, that's the home girl right there. We in her first video.
Oh damn.
You seen us
Okay.
in that video.
Yeah, shout out to her and stuff. You know what I'm saying? We follow each other on Instagram and stuff. So
Yep,
yeah.
I'm in that first Spice One video. Gangster from the Bay, you know what I mean? Spice One head. We shot out here in LA. And so yeah, East Bay Gangster.
East Bay Gangster, that's my song right there.
I'm in the straight jacket with the braids going crazy in the cell.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
Shit.
straight jacket going
Okay.
crazy. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I grew up on Spice, man. Okay, yeah, I always wanted to know. I was like, was that just a compilation, or was that more like a group, like a
it
clique?
was
They
a
were going
compilation
compilation.
track.
Got it. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
so
Damn, damn. See, y'all was ahead of y'all time on a lot of shit.
yeah, man, on the show soundtrack, Tales from the Hood, The Substitute, got music in 8 Mile, the movie. LV won the Grammy with Coolio on that Gangsta's Paradise. You know, so
Yeah,
we made some historical moves, but we're not getting historical props for what we did.
yeah,
We're underground. We never was a radio group. The biggest radio song we had was LV being on Gangsta's Paradise with Coolio, but that was a Coolio song. But SCC, we was gangster. But the first week out on Gas We Trust, we sold over 290,000 units and made it the #4 on R&B charts with no radio play.
damn. See, man, you look for y'all to do the Murder Squad like how y'all were doing it, because it's like you don't really pay attention to that until like when Master P did the West Coast Bad Boys or did the Down South Hustlers album and it was like Murder Squad, y'all were able
We
to.
already
Yeah,
perceived that. It was like people
yeah.
not saying they was biting us.
No, I would never. No, I'm not
Right. No,
saying
I'm
Master P,
saying
but
I'm
okay.
speaking because I'm open. I had a song on that record. Master P didn't even put it on there.
Oh
He
shit.
paid us to get on that record, gave us 5,000, and we did a dope ass song, but he didn't use it. So he was already coming to do something that I had already done.
Got it. I got what you're saying.
Through
Yeah,
Priority Records, Dave Weiner and Duffy Rich. See, it ain't nobody in this music business that I don't know or can't talk about or know because I was out there. I was everywhere. I was like, you know what I mean? I was like that rover. Havoc was all over.
damn. Well, hey, I'm gonna switch gears and I'm gonna bring it more to where we're at now because
Right.
I like how you summarized your earlier coming up, like because we needed that history lesson. Um, why was this the album where you decided this is the final statement?
The final journey.
Yeah, what made this project different from anything you've done before?
First of all, I want to thank Mellow Mac for helping me put this record together and my boy Hitman from Vegas. Me, him, us three basically did all of the production on the album.
Okay.
I want to give a shout out to Tretch, who flew in from Jersey, flew in for the video, Jail Felony, BG Knockout, my boy, I got uh, my boy from the Dove Shack came in and sung on the chorus.
Shout out to
I got
Dove,
yeah,
LBC.
um, and Bo Rock, of course, who I'm speaking of. And my boy OG Rome came and blessed me. My boy Yuck Mouth from the Loonies came and blessed me. And so and OG Rome, a Latin rapper, and I had some great singers, that came in. Melody F. Sharp, my cousin, who was signed to Death Row, she came in and blessed me with a couple of tracks. And so when I started on the journey of doing this album and got to the point where I said this is it for me, it's basically a few reasons. The music business and the music sound is like any other music through history. It's called evolution of a sound. And the sound of where I came up in which I made history in, with SCC is now in that part of where evolution didn't pass it by.
Got it.
You get it? And now that music become part of the oldies, like the 80s, like the 70s, like the 60s. You don't see somebody in the 60s singing in 2000 or in the 90s.
Yeah.
But people that's in the 90s is going back, getting pieces of that era and modernize it to make it more of what today's sound or direction in a era to where that music is taking form or didn't take shape.
Okay.
And so me, I never want to be the one that wants to ride something that ain't me. So I don't want to rap like how these rappers rap today. But I also never been a rapper in the era of the 90s because I never rapped.
Gotcha.
You get it? So in order for me to do a record, I had to have a little bit of old school where I come from, a little bit of new school is where I'm at, and a lot of me school of taking my style, which is unique and different in my own right. Because I'm not a lyricist far as I'm more of a poet rapping to music. My style is more of a narrator telling stories. My whole album is based on reality of my life and gave me an opportunity to give my piece of the story of my musical journey, my history of growing up as a kid, my history through certain parts of the music industry, so I want to cover all of them bases with my album and also have no song on my record sound alike. Every song had to have its own unique, distinct direction and how I featured, who I wanted, the production of it, how I want to do it, and then eventually go do a video for every song on my record, which is unheard of. I'm already up to 10 videos scheduled with the last 3 happening in the next month and a half. Tomorrow I'm shooting video number 10. I did a remake of a twist of Wild Thing, right, with a little twist of 2 Live Crew, Me So Horny. So so I got an all female band tomorrow that's going to be the band while I'm rapping the Wild Thing and then telling the story with a couple of other models, doing the storyline. So that'll be video number 10. And then I'm shooting a double video on the 21st of this month. Turn the Page, a story about my life from Chicago to Cali, and then Time to Hustle, about how I became a hustler in my beginning in Chicago that transcended to California and eventually hustling into the music game, getting a deal on Def Jam with Russell Simmons.
Got it. Now, my question is this: for the videos, are these going to actually be like music videos with a storyline dealing with the song?
Yeah.
Like, okay, because the only person that I can think of that has ever did visuals to every song on his album was 50 Cent. He did it for the Massacre album in 05, but they wasn't like your like traditional type of music videos. It's like some of the stuff was like kind of where he had like a green screen in the back.
If you go right now on YouTube, right, and you look at the 9 videos I done, I put in work in every video.
Got it.
I mean, and so it's not just me behind the green screen, just there. I mean, I actually, I did some green screen work on We the People to where I'm talking about, what's going on in the political scene. And so me and Blue Flame Mega, we was behind the green screen, and also, we did different scenes so we can have Martin Luther King and different parts of the struggle in the political world. But yeah, man, just tell them to go to YouTube and put in The Last of My Kind, The Final Journey, The Game Changer, and you would get my video album.
Got it.
So you can go in there and listen to the whole album with the videos. So I got
Okay, you the first on that one. You definitely
yeah.
the first
Number
on that
10
one.
tomorrow on the
Yeah.
21st. I'm shooting half of 2 videos, and then I'm flying into Chicago to do the first verses, which where I was talking about being in Chicago. So half the videos in Chicago as I come to California, which I'm shooting
Ah,
California scenes on the 21st. And then I
okay.
got one more with my grandson who I let come rap on a song with me. That's going to be the last video. And then I'm done with all 13 videos.
That's what's up, man. Congratulations, especially on the last of my kind. You know. Now I do want to bring it back to your game changer entertainment. So, game changer entertainment isn't just a label; it's a film, media, fashion, management. Why was it important for you to build that type of infrastructure instead of just staying only as an artist?
When you done it all, you want to present and do it all. Because all them years, I was doing a piece of all of them different things, doing videos with Brett Ratner, a great Brett Ratner. You know
Ooh,
what I mean?
yeah,
The video directors that I learned from. And so I learned how to do production on videos. The next thing from production videos is movies. So I got 2 movies right now ready to go. Ghetto Tears and my dad's in them biopic, Lit, the Shy story. And so I got them ready to go. It's just, trying to get funding and, dealing with the politics of having somebody believe in what you're doing without trying to steal your whole pie. And
got
so
it.
I'm not going to sell my soul and give up all the hard work that me and my team put together just to get a movie out there where I ain't going to get, what I deserve for doing it. And so the clothing line, you know what I mean? I've been around, I watched great clothing line. I watched Russell Bill Fat Farm. I seen Fubu grow. I seen different labels grow as a part of, having a clothing line. So that's something that I added to my repertoire. Doing video production. I did all of the production of every video I done on my album. Every video I did the production. I booked the places, I booked the models, I paid everybody, I bought the food, every situation. I make sure that I take care of people because I don't want to come back saying, oh, he used me, or I did this for him and I didn't get this. No, I might not be able to can't pay you, like I'm Def Jam, but I can pay you like I'm Game Changer. You know what I mean? So,
Message. That's what's up. I think you need to when it comes to these media, the movies, the film, I think you should tap in with Big Court because he created the OG network,
I
which
know him and my boy Ice T.
see, yeah. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
got it. I got it in my phone. I downloaded the app. I'm checking him out. But see, the thing about the Shotlight movie and the Ghetto Tears movie, it's going to take a budget. And so if
gotcha.
somebody's not willing to put the money in, it really is not. You know what I mean? Because I got a great budget for Ghetto Tears. I can do that for like 10 mil based on today's technology. The Shotlight movie, I got, Chris Brown and Bruno Mars and all of them playing Shotlights. So I'm gonna need like 30, 35 million to be able to pay them for, to be in the movie, which they committed to do it if I come up with the budget.
Yeah, I ain't
So
gonna lie.
yeah,
I definitely want to see a Shot Lights movie. I ain't gonna
yeah.
lie.
And also one of my songs on my album that's got presented to be in the Netflix original series. And the series is called Supercell. It's in the second season, and they picked one of the songs off my album to be in the series.
Okay, already
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, little things, man. Little
It-
things, man. Build up the big things.
yes, Lord. Okay, man. Like I said, man, I'm happy that you know what I'm saying, you really getting your just dues. Because
And
you've been doing, like I said, you've been
I'm
doing it for
happy.
years.
I'm happy. I'm thankful, and more than anything, I'm grateful. You hear me?
Yeah,
Because having being humble and having humility is something that the music can drive your ego to having a pride of being disrespectful, looking at people like you better than them. You know what I mean? And I watch how that you can easily have and it can easily go. because I've been there. And
Yeah.
so this round, where I'm in control of what I do, the number one thing that I work on each and every day when I wake up is on my pride and my ego that I try not to have. You know what I mean? Like it's a
Yeah.
constant battle to stay humble, stay grateful, and understand that this is my last journey and I'm going out the way I see fit.
Hey, under your own terms.
Under my
That's right.
own, hey, look, no labels, nobody doing really nothing. I did have one great friend of mine. She invested, 10,000 into my project, which I shot that on the video. You know what I
Mm.
mean? But the fact that she believed in me enough to invest 10,000, and I'm already over 100K.
Congratulations, my dude. For
I
sure.
mean,
Wait, I gotta ask you a top hip hop question.
sure.
Who are your top five favorite rappers? Or I would say top five favorite artists of all times.
Well,
Uh,
first of all, I was inspired by this group, so I have to put them in there, and that would be, when you think about the songs, Rapper's Delight, what I mean, you think about the group that put out Rapper's Delight, and so I would have to put them in my mix. Then
okay.
I have to go to NWA, right, which I love, that inspired us to be who we are,
Yep.
right? Of course, I have to throw the Ghetto Boys in there because they represented the South and what the South brought to the table, far as, the gangster, street music of what the Ghetto Boys brought. And then I would have to give some love to the East Coast, and I would have to give love to my boy Tretch and Naughty by Nature, who I love and give much respect. And of course, I got to throw a female up in there, and it
That's
would
number
have to be
five.
Balls from Detroit. You know what I mean? Because of her different style and what she helped pave the way for, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like, there's a lot of groups that I can piggyback from, from them, like the Spice Ones. I can piggyback Salt and Pepper, you know what I mean? I can piggyback, groups like Jail Felony, Eight from Compton. You know what I mean? It's a lot of groups that
Yeah.
I can put in that realm of who I appreciate and have major respect for. But it's hard to pick a top five when everybody's a top five. You know?
Gotcha. Now, out of the five that you named, the top five you named, is there anything that you learned from them, either musically or mentally?
Well, definitely Easy E. Easy E was
Okay.
the one that took me because I was on the interview with Dominique DePrima when they had the Ruthless Radio show to when they was arguing with Death Row. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, when they
yeah,
were
you hear
arguing
me
with
talk.
Daz.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm on
yeah.
there. You can hear me talking. I'm right next to Easy. But that day, Easy E always gave me advice about my direction and how to keep my videos in the hood. So never take the video because in the future, when people look back in the 90s, they want to see the 90s, where that music was inspired from, the areas that where you come from. Don't take your videos to Hollywood. Don't take your videos to different places that doesn't represent the culture of the sound that you represent in your words and in your music. So, and about, having a label, just different things. Eric always, took a moment to inspire me. And
Yeah.
so Easy E would probably be the top of the list of all of the people that gave me game without looking at me, to where he can say, hey, well, bring South Central Cartel to Ruthless and where I can get everything out of what you're doing. He gave me the game to be able to go do it myself.
Got it. Man,
So
I know
Easy
I
E,
miss
man.
Easy.
Yeah, man. Eric was a great guy, man. I remember we were sitting in the parking lot of 92.3 The Beat, and I had just got my candy apple BMW, and I pulled up in there, and he was like, damn, like, saying that, I done went from quality now to Def Jam. Now I'm getting that money that he used to inspire me to go out and beat a certain way, and now seeing me grow, it was a great moment for me and him sitting in the parking lot of 92.3 The Beat and talking about how he's seen me grow from South Central Madness, too, in Gats We Trust.
Damn. Yeah, I miss Easy, man. That's every. I haven't heard anybody say anything bad about him. As far as like they just say his humbleness, his
Anything has to do with this bad, it's just opinion of how people, first of all, whenever you get something in the music business, if you don't manage it right or elevate what you're doing while you got the torch, then you tend to depend on somebody to give you everything. And so when you mismanage that and you lose a lot of what you thought you was going to get more of, and now you have to have the blaming game. You
yeah.
get it? The one thing I ain't gonna never do is blame something on my bad choices. You know what I mean? I know the money I touch. And if I would have been smart with it, bought property, got buildings, did certain other things, then go out here and buy candy apple BMWs with custom rims and jewelry and clothes and chasing females and flying,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I mismanaged my success.
Mm-hmm.
So who can I blame other than myself for that?
That's it. That's taking responsibility for your own actions.
And that's what I did.
That's what's up. Now, well, with retirement plan for the end of this year,
Absolutely. Looking
what?
forward to it. Do you like?
Well, I got two questions in that. What does what's next really look like for you, and how do you want the culture to remember the game changer?
Wow. Boy, I don't know about you, man. You're really good with the question. I'm gonna answer first of all what the culture expect from me.
Okay.
Whatever God has in store for me, no one can take.
Okay.
Whatever legacy I develop, if it don't um, um, go out here and do what everybody, expect me to do or expect me not to do, is not determined by me. Only things determined by me is what I do and how my work ethic projects what I do. So I might not can't out rap Q, but I can show outwork Q. I might not can't out rap Snoop, but I can outwork Snoop in my own right because
Gotcha.
there's nobody in this industry that can outwork me. Now they might have more money than me. They might have more of a bigger networking than me. But if I had the same tools and the same network, they're gonna come in second. And so I pride myself on
Okay.
my work ethic. So that would be the one thing that I always would be humbled about. Long as I keep working, long as I keep doing right, long as I stay humble, whatever God sees fit for me, no one can take. So that part. What's
Okay.
after this is happiness, traveling, enjoying life, um, you know, um, hopefully here and there, somebody will call me and want me to appear on something where I'm get paid. Because if I'm not getting paid, I'm not going. I'm not going to hang out at a party just to hang out. I'm not going to someone's thing just to hang out. My time is my money, and my money is the time, that I put into this. And I want to be able to benefit in some type of way, to where if I do come out to do something, that means I'm getting paid for my time. Like how they might call LL to come host a old hip hop situation, even though he's representing, the 80s and 90s. But
Mhm.
if he get paid to come host a award show, or if I can go, perform at something that's huge, that give me an opportunity, to do something for the game changer, because I'm never doing nothing else with South Central Cartel. I'm never doing nothing else with Havoc and Prodigy. I'm never doing nothing else with the Murder Squad. So that part of my life is closed forever. The only
Mhm.
way that I'm going to come out and do something is going to be as the game changer. And that's going to cost you to get my time.
Got it. Well, I want to go ahead and wrap up,
Okay.
but I want to first of all, I gotta from Gutter Cane and Serving the Raw. I want to give you your flowers for not only the contributions that you've done as Havoc the Mouthpiece,
Thank you.
but definitely what you have done as the game changer,
Thank you.
the musical talent that you put in this, the work ethic that you put in here, just the overall contributions, the make sure the projects that we got from SEC and overall, you know, it has, helped shape a lot of people's lives. It helped shape my life in the 90s. I was born in 83, but I was raised in the 90s, and stuff like that. So a lot of that was, an eye opener. It was reality music for me and stuff like that. It actually taught me, how to move in this game. So I
Right.
really I definitely want to give you flowers for that, man, and say thank you for, everything that you have given to hip hop culture.
Right. And I want to thank my boy Prodigy for giving me that opportunity, because if it wasn't for the opportunity, Prod saying, hey man, let me give you a shot, which anybody can be given an opportunity. It's what you do with the opportunity. And
Yeah.
so once he gave me that chance, I tried to fly.
Well, hey, you're continuing to fly, but you damn sure soared off like like an eagle, and
Do me.
yeah, and you definitely been pushing, man, and like I said, like when I give flowers, to you, I also want to include SCC,
Yeah.
and Murder Squad, because like I said, y'all did a lot of things that were before y'all time. Y'all have definitely stamped y'all legacy.
In history.
Yeah, being the first West Coast rap group to Def Jam, which was predominantly all the East
Look at
Coast.
all the groups that signed afterwards.
Yeah, you know,
Think about it.
yeah,
Warren G,
Warren
J.O.
G,
Felony,
felony. Yep.
you know what I mean? A lot
Yeah.
of groups came in after us. But see, it's only one difference, and I know we're the only group that Russell signed. Every other group was signed by Leora Cohen from Def Jam. Russell signed no other group from the West Coast but us. We're the only group, first group, and only group he signed from the West Coast. Every other group that came on Def Jam was signed by Leora Cohen's. And Leora offered me the job to run Def Jam West.
Oh
I went
damn.
and met with him. He offered me the job. I turned it down. They gave it to the white boy. What's it? Paul Stewart.
Oh okay. Damn. Did
Yeah.
Ruben ever sign anybody?
No, Rick Rubin left Def Jam when it was and started Def. It used to be Def America. He left and took the Beasley Boys and came and signed with Capitol and put out
Ah.
the Beasley Boys. Russell turned around and started Def Jam when they separated.
Oh
The
okay.
company was called Def America. I'm a encyclopedia. I know
Yeah. He
the
said.
history of it.
I know. Look. People don't know about them encyclopedias, man. Them Britannicas.
Yeah. I know pretty much where everybody started at, the labels from Spice One with Triad Records with Georgette Willis, wound up going to Jive with Barry Wise and the brother it was two brothers. One of them died. He used to run he was working for Def Jam. What's his name? Oh God, it's gonna come to my head. But he passed away, and his brother worked for class. I mean Jive Records.
Okay.
So oh God, what's their name? But yeah, it was two brothers, and one of them he put out. He was managing Q-Tip and had the label on Def Jam that did a lot of the management for Def Jam. I'm trying to think of the Lighty, Chris Lighty and Dave
Oh,
Lighty.
Chris Lighty. Oh, oh.
Yeah,
I
Chris and
should have.
Dave Lighty. Yeah. See,
Violators.
yeah,
Violators.
yeah, violator. See, you
Hmm.
gotta know. I went and visited Q-Tip when I was out in Def Jam in the basement where his mama had the apartment building at, where he had a studio in the basement. Me and Bushwick
Damn.
Bill from
From the
Brooklyn.
ghetto.
Yeah, but he's originally from Brooklyn, Bushwick, New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's originally from New York, but he eventually was with the Ghetto Boys. But me, him, and Russell's limo driver was all went to Q-Tip house. He was sick and took him some medicine. My boy.
Damn, boy.
I used
Look,
to hang
see.
out in New York a lot, man.
Yeah, like look. It's something about them encyclopedias, man. Look, that was the best. That's one of the best gifts my dad ever bought for me, boy. That whole damn set, and I read the fuck out of that thing. Yeah, the knowledge you get from that, man.
Man, I got so much in my brain, man, from Tupac interviews with Sherry Carter. I took Tupac to the Spice One video, Trigger Gas No Heart, because we was doing the gangster team. And I had to go pick Spice up to do the last verse on the gangster team. But he was shooting his video that day.
Yeah,
And so I went to the video to wait till after the video to get him to go to Larrabee's studio to do the last verse. If you notice, Spice has the last verse on the gangster team. And that's when Pac asked me, "You know where Spice at?" And I was like, "Yeah." He said, "Then ride with us." So I hopped in the car with Tupac and them, and next thing you know, I'm
You was
on.
there for the fight.
Yeah, I'm doing the scene with Spice Trigger, got no heart behind a big green screen. Next thing you know, one of the brothers running and Pac boys chasing him while Pac and them stomping out the other one. And it was me who took him there, showed him where the video was at, because he didn't know.
Hey, like
I
Pac
didn't know
said,
nothing
got
about the
the.
beef. I didn't know nothing about no beef. When Spice said, "Who brought Tupac here?" I looked at him like, "Wow."
Hey,
I'm
like
straight
Pac
at him
said.
like, "Why?" And they running,
Yeah,
chasing one of them. And then
yeah.
the next day we shot the straight up minutes video with 8. And one was beat up and the other one was cool. It was on Santa Monica Boulevard. I got stories, man. You hear me? Everybody keep talking, you should do a documentary. You should do this. You got stories. Yeah, man. I got stories with Russell. Rest in peace. His best friend that used to run Uptown Records that passed, and they jacked him for Mary J. Blige and Jodeci. What's his damn name? I'm gonna think of Andre Harrell.
Damn. You know
I
what?
Hey, look, but it take me a minute for my old ass to go into this. I got so much. Listen, I got so much knowledge of hip
Yeah.
hop. Right, but it just take me a minute, man, and it's gonna come to my brain because I gotta dig down way back to the '90s.
He's like, I
A lot
know
of
that.
knowledge to go through. You hear me?
Shit, you got 35 years in this motherfucker, man.
Thank God. And I'm still healthy, still able to maneuver, man. And like I said, I got a show tonight, video tomorrow, 2 more videos on the 21st. More shows lined up. And like I said, I'm going to Paris to do a big show in June. I got a big show June 26th back in the day. I just got so many shows, and I'm hustling now, looking for more. Oh, I'm hosting the West Coast Hip Hop Awards this year up in Seattle.
Seattle. Oh, you gonna be there?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
me.
Well, I'm saying, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, me, Sugar T, and Yuck Mouth gonna host it.
Okay. Yeah. Shout out to Sugar
Yeah,
T,
come on
man.
through, man. Yeah, come on through. Yeah, I'm on that Boss Baller first album, man, with D Shot.
All
We produced the Spice One song, me and Pride. Well, Pride produced it, but I hooked it up, and then me and Pride got a song on that D Shot Boss Balling album.
that's my nigga, man. D Shot, boy.
Yeah,
I gotta interview him too. He's on the list of people. I've been, ever
I'm
since,
at Fairly
I be
Sale
a
video
huckleberry.
when they had Captain Saberho. We had the water guns shooting all the girls in the video. I'm in that video. I used to be up in the Bay Area all the time, man, hanging out. You know what I mean?
Boy, you
Concert
the
supporters, all up through there. I mess with everybody. All the way down to recruiting J.O. to the murder squad, to him wind up getting on Def Jam because he was on the murder squad. And
yeah.
you get it? Like, people might not want to say certain things, but it's certain things that open up a door for you that continue to escalate that road.
That's what's up, man. You done had your hands in a lot of stuff, man. I'm so
Yeah, that
glad.
show
Yeah.
soundtrack, man. We got a song on the show soundtrack, man. Where I got J.O. Felony, Spice One. I got Shaquilla, Tretch, Ant Banks, SCC, all on that song on the show.
I know. I remember the show. Cause what Meth and Red is on that shit too, and
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
yeah,
that song that Biggie got on there. It's hot.
yeah. That was a soundtrack. That was definitely a hot little hot soundtrack and shit back in the nights when that bitch dropped.
And while they
Yeah,
interviewing Tretch on the bus for the show movie, I'm sitting right next to Tretch.
I gotta go back and watch it. I haven't watched that
Yeah,
movie
I'm
in a
sitting
minute,
right
man.
when Tretch is on the bus. He in LA, we shooting the No Peace video with
Okay.
Boss, Ice-T, Ant Banks. All of us was doing a video for the Murder Squad, No Peace.
See, I'm gonna find some of this stuff and I'm gonna clip
Yeah,
it into our
man.
interview.
Yeah, man. The No Peace video.
Oh,
Got
okay.
Boss in it. Boss was pregnant.
Damn.
Yep, she was pregnant at the video.
Look, man. We
Ice-T,
we gonna have to tap
we got
in and do
Ice-T
another.
son in the video doing a drive-by on the big wheel.
Look, man. You gonna have to have another. Man, you gonna have to talk again.
Man, I got stories, man. Like, yeah, I was there when the Luke fight with Death Row was fighting at the Marriott Hotel. I watched the whole fight.
God damn. Yeah, I know about that one too.
Yeah, man, I watched it, man. I seen when it all started. That was the very first time I ever met Suge. Was at that right before the fight broke out. I had just met Suge.
Damn. Well, hey, before we wrap up, you want to let everybody know how they can reach out to you?
Man, everything Game Changer, man, is spelled the unique way. GAIMCHNG, the number 3R. My website, everything that you know you want to go on. I'm on everything. If somebody say they can't reach me through that name, Game Changer, you're gonna be there for hours when that Game Changer just gonna look. It's just gonna look. You're gonna be like, damn. So
Yes,
it's Game Changer everything. GAIMCHNG3R. I'm the Game Changer, and I'm just trying to change the game on my final journey. The last of my kind.
Yep.
The final journey.
Alrighty, y'all. I want everybody to go out, go check out The Last of My Kind. Always a big fan of SCC and the Game Changer and everything he's done. I want to thank you for your time.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
It took a while to get it, but it was worth the wait.
Oh, hell yeah. Look, we locked in now, so we good.
If you need me, man, or you need me to come represent something, man, I'm this year I'm trying to do it all, man. Like I want it all. You hear me? I want it all. It ain't nothing too small or too big because I'm giving myself to every situation.
That's what's up. Well, I will have a lot of those links in the description. I want to give a big shout out to all my servers for tapping in for another episode of CIRV'N IT RAW. I hope y'all enjoyed the ride. I damn sure did. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button and drop a comment below. Let us know what you think. You can also catch me on all your favorite streaming platforms. We'll be back next Wednesday with another fire episode. I want to especially thank the Game Changer for his time and reminiscing and giving us that long legacy and that journey that he was able to help with and push SCC along with the Murder Squad. You know what I'm saying? Go check out The Last of My Kind. But until then, enjoy the rest of y'all week.
I'm driving my way to greatness.
Already. Hey, he getting it.
All right, man. God bless and thank you, brother.
Already. Peace.
I'm doing the interview, mama.
I'm serving it raw, I'm serving it raw, I'm serving it raw.